Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from Inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making video. And we're doing super simple today. Super simple. And we're going to use some old favourites in the perennial postage dies. I love these. You can use them in lots of different combinations to make lots of different backgrounds and things. So these are cool. Really nice set to have in your collection. See, I am thinking I need a substitute for my lovely Everyday Details dies, which have now sold out, which is really sad. Really like using those. So I'm going to perennial postage instead, and I'm going to bring out this Labelled with Love set. It does have a coordinating die or punch depending on which you prefer, and I've used this quite a lot really, but I do love the butterfly. And I love this just for you. So that's what we're going to be using, okay, just to make this really simple card. So this is one of our current in colours. This is Summer Splash that I've used here, and the butterflies have actually been stamped in early espresso rather than black, just to sort of tone it down a little bit. So that probably appears quite dark on camera, but in real life most definitely not black. Okay, so just a little bit of something different, really simple, for any time of year and for any occasion. Okay, so like I say, this is Summer Splash, so that's one of the in colours. So we're going to use another one of the in colours, and I'm going to use Peach Pie. So again, going to stamp in early espresso, okay, and we're going to keep it kind of mostly monochromatic. Okay, so you can see I've done a little bit ahead of time. This is just a Peach Pie card base, so obviously we'll come to that in a second. Little strip of cardstock for the sentiment when we come round to it, and then we're going to do our our butterflies. Sorry if I sound a bit croaky and wheezy, I have had a bit of a cold. So I've stamped these already, just done some scraps. Use up your scraps, okay, and we're just going to show you how I've used the solid stamp in the set here to ink this up, but I don't know whether you can see that it's not solid. It's got a little bit of it sort of fades out a little bit and a bit more subtle. Okay, so if I was to use my scrap, I could bring in my Peach Pie stamp pad here, my classic stamping pad. If I was to ink this up straight on to the cardstock, let me just use this scrap piece of paper. It's actually quite dark, and I wanted something rather more subtle. If you stamp off and stamp again, sometimes you get like this sort of halo effect, which can look nice, okay, but I wanted something a little bit more soft, blended look. Now in reality that probably would have been masked by the outline on there, but I wanted to give you another option. Okay, so my other option is using a blending brush, whether it's a big one or a little one, doesn't really matter. And I'm not inking the whole thing, I'm just going to put some ink on there towards the bottom, and then tap that ink, and it will just naturally just be lighter at the edges. Okay, all right, so that's going to be a really nice thin application of ink that we can then press into there and get a much more subtle look to the colour on our butterfly. In fact, it's so pale I don't know whether that actually catches that well. I think you can tell it's different, yeah. Okay, so we'll do that again, just ink up that bottom part there and use the brush just to soften that out. And also you won't necessarily get the same every time, and of course butterflies aren't all exactly the same, are they? So you get a bit of natural variety with each one that you do. So that one's turned out really nice with the faded out tips. Okay, so that's how I have stamped my butterflies. Okay, there are no there are no dies that cut out these shapes, so it is a case of fussy cutting it out. So just on this one, I'm going to go all the way to the stamped edge. Now I've cut all the way around past the antennae, and then I'm going to go across. Okay, and we'll finish that off by going all the way around to the bottom, and we'll just snip that away. Oops. Okay, let's just finish doing the easy bit. It's better to go anti-clockwise. You can see exactly where the blade's going. I didn't know whether it was just me being lefty that went anti-clockwise, but having watched a few other crafters on the YouTube, you right-handed people go right anti-clockwise as well. So I've already snipped down this part, but we just need to get around those little antennae pieces, and you just need to be super careful basically. So what I did was I went round the tops and to the center and got that bit away, and then I cut out the little sort of V that's in the center there. Okay, and you know what, if it's not perfect, I think you can forgive yourself. Okay, so let's just wrap that around there. There we go. So that's number one. Already did one just to sort of try and save some time. Okay, and we can go again. So let's just whiz around the outside here. Move your paper, not your scissors. I'm not going to fuss too much with the bottom of the abdomen there. And if you there's two schools of thought. Sometimes people would recommend leaving a border, which helps you keep it neat, or you could go with just cutting along the ink line, which means that if you're kind of a bit wibbly, it won't show. So it's kind of up to you which method you prefer, really. So again, I've already gone down. Oh, did I do that? Did I do that? Yeah. So we'll cut away this bit and this bit. There we go. And then this little bit in the middle, right between his eyes, is going to come away there. And I've just got a little bit of white bit there that I just would rather just get rid of. It's a bit too much showing. There we go. If you really wanted to, you could go around the edge with a like a coordinating like stamping blend, or we haven't got a stamping blend in AliExpress, I don't think. No. Or one of the Stampin' Right markers. So you could do that as well, just to hide any of those little white bits. And then the other thing I like to do with butterflies and flowers, for that matter, is just to give them some shape. So you can do that with anything, right? So I'm going to use, just because you will have these rather than anything else, is just use the handle of my scissors. If you go around the back, it cups up like that, and then if you crease the body in the middle, you end up with a really nice sort of seagull wing shape, gull wing shape, like so. Okay, now flip those over so that we've got them ready to stick some glue on. Okay, and so we want to get these nice and lifted, so I'm actually going to use some mini dimensionals just to help us with that. So I'm going to put a couple of these behind each of those wings there. Okay, and then we'll stick the bodies down in the centre with a touch of wet glue. So those are our butterflies ready to go. Okay, we need our sentiment. Now on this card I used the complementary ink. Peach Pie is quite pale, but the strong ink wasn't, was it? So I think it's kind of a do I don't I really. Do I want the early espresso or do I want the peach pie? Do you know what we might do? Let's stamp it twice. Let's get another strip of cardstock. I've got loads of these little strips that I have about because of when I trim down my cards and my card layers, I end up with little sort of strips. So there it is in peach pie, and let's do it in, let's just wipe that off quickly, and let's do it in early espresso, and then we'll make a decision on which we think is best. We being the royal we, of course, because you won't be able to shout at me from the YouTube waves. You can tell me in the comments. So got those stamped, okay, and again with our scissors, I don't know why I put those back on, so we can trim this down where we want it. Again, don't worry about it not being even, and then we're going to snip in at the center and then go in from the corner, in from the corner, and you'll get your little flag ends. Okay, so that's nothing like straight, so I'm just going to try and rectify that by going a little bit high on the corner. Use your trimmer if rather than freehand cutting the ends if you want to. Okay, so there's our little flag end for that. And there, do exactly the same so that we've got them both ready to go. And we have options, and of course we have lots of colours that we could do this with. I did and ah about using lemon lolly. Thought that would be look lovely, but definitely would have used the early espresso for the sentiment for that, because that's a very pale ink that probably isn't so great for sentiments. Let's just try and get some of these little bits out of the way. Okay, right, and then the only thing we've got left is our background die. So you get loads of dies in this set, and I've gone for this one. So there's sort of 3 smaller rectangle, no, there's 4, 1 2 3 4. So there's the 4th one, okay, and I've already die cut that out, but we want to put that little bit of ink on there. Now if you've watched a video, any of my videos before, you may have seen me do this. So it's easier if you've just die cut it and it's still sort of wedged into your cardstock, just leave it, okay, and if it's not, it just snaps in. You have to just trust me that it locks in around that cutting edge. And then I'm just going to use the residual ink. I'm not going to add any more to the brush, and I'm just going to use what's there to add some ink around the edge here, and the die almost acts, I should say, as a mask. So those edges where that ink, where the die was covering the edge there, have stayed white, and we've got a little bit of ink on there. You want to just wipe that off and make sure all that ink's off your die, otherwise it will transfer to your next project. And while we've got our mini dimensionals out, we may as well use those to adhere this to the card. They work just as well as the big ones. identical, just a little bit smaller. And because they're hexagonal, those corners are perfect for getting those release papers off. So we will position this on. And the other thing I did on the other card was actually applied a little bit of ink to the background, just to create a little bit more contrast. So that horrible blobby bit won't be seen, don't worry. In case you're thinking I've gone crazy. Okay, so you can make a good old mess there, but no one will see it. And it will just peek out and no one will know. Oops. So just trying to get that border straight with that side. I've taken all the backings off. Yeah, okay. Just didn't seem to want to stick. Okay, there we go. And then get all the backings off these as well, so they're ready to position. It's nice and quick. So you can use a bit of wet glue on the bodies as well, which will help secure that. But now we've got to make the decision about whether we want the monochrome or let's put our butterflies in place. So what do we think? Do we think, not that I can hear you. So that's peach pie, obviously. And then I don't know, I just feel like, oh, it's really hard. I'm going to go early espresso. Everyone can shout at me later whether you think that was the right decision or not. So we'll put a bit of stamping seal on that just to stick it flat, just poking that in. We flagged both ends because you never know what you're going to be able to see or not see when you do these finished cards sometimes, right? Okay, so like I say, that's cool. I'm not adding any gems to these today. I'm just going to leave them as is, okay? But aren't they cute? Really, really easy. And you could like bash a few of those out and just use your favourite colours. I've chosen monochromatic, but you could have easily used some really nice contrasting colours. I think some bright pink butterflies on this colour would have been great. You know, and maybe we could have used the yellow card base, but then brought in the orange on there just to mix that up. So loads and loads of options for you in terms of colours. But like I say, I just wanted to give you a really nice simple layout for any time of year. Just thinking ahead now beyond the Christmas period and new mini catalogues coming. So I think some of you might have seen some sneak peeks already from that. So I'm really excited to use some of the new stuff, and we've also got celebration, so you can also qualify for some freebies as well when you order. So I can't wait for that. Some really good stuff coming, all coming in January, so watch this space in terms of that. And in the meantime, I hope you're staying safe. Do take care. See you soon. Bye bye.